But try as they might, they couldn't persuade Jane to make another wish, even a little safe one. She just kept shaking her head at all her arguments, and when argument descended to insult, she didn't say a word, which was most unlike Jane. When they got home, she said she had a headache and went to the sleeping porch and shut the door. She wouldn't even come downstairs for lunch, but stayed out there alone all afternoon, moodily eating a whole box of social tea biscuits and talking to Carrie the cat. Miss Big despaired of her. When their mother came home, she knew something was wrong. But being an understanding parent, she didn't ask questions. At dinner, she announced that she was going out for the evening. Jane didn't look up from the brooding silence, but the others were interested. The children always hoped their mother was going on exciting adventures. Druda seldom was. Tonight she was going to Aunt Grace and Uncle Edwin. Why? Mark wanted to know. They were very kind to me after your father died. They have been very kind to you. Useful presents. Mark was scornful. Will Aunt Grace say, just a little chocolate cake? Best you ever tasted. I made it myself. I made it myself? Kathleen wanted to know. You shouldn't laugh at your Aunt Grace. I don't know what your father would say. Father laughed at her too. It isn't the same thing. Why? This kind of conversation was always very interesting to the children and could have gone forever, so long that they were concerned. But somehow, no grown-ups ever seemed to feel that way about conversation. Their mother put a stop to this one by leaving for Aunt Grace's. When she had gone, things got strange again. Jane kept hovering in and out of the room where the others were playing a half-hearted game of flinch until everything was driven wild. Finally, Mark burst out. Why don't you tell us? Jane shook her head. I can't. You wouldn't understand. Naturally, this made everyone furious. Just because she is magic, she thinks she's smarter, Martha said. I don't think she's magic at all. This was Catherine. Only she's afraid to make a wish and find out. I'm not, I am, Jane cried, not very clearly. Only I don't know why or how much. It's like having one foot almost asleep but not quite. You can't use it and you can't enjoy it. I'm afraid to even think a wish. I am afraid to think at all. If you have ever had magic powers descend on you suddenly out of the blue, you'll know how Jane felt. When you have magical powers and know it, it can be a fine feeling, like a pleasant tingling inside. But in order to enjoy that tingling, you have to know just how much magic you have and what the rules are for using it. And Jane didn't have any idea how much she had or how to use it. This made her unhappy, and the others couldn't see why, and said so, and Jane answered back. And by the time they went to bed, no one was speaking to anyone else. What bothered Jane most was a feeling that she'd forgotten something, and that if she could remember it, she'd know the reason for everything that happened. It was as if the reason were there in her mind somewhere. If only she could reach it, she learned into his mind, reaching. The next thing she knew, she was sitting straight up in bed, and the clock was striking 11, and she had remembered. It was as though she'd gone on thinking in her sleep. Sometimes this happens. She got up and felt her way to the dresser where she'd put her money. Without looking at it, when she came home from the fire, first she felt the top of the dresser, then she lit the lamp and looked. The nickel she found in the crack in the sidewalk was gone. And then Jane began thinking really hard. The end of chapter 1.